Hey everyone, welcome back to Dr. English Channel. I'm David.
And I'm Anna. And today we're diving, quite literally, into a deep topic: how to survive in the sea. But before we start, don't forget to subscribe our channel for more videos about the easy ways to learn English from beginner.
That's right. Not just swimming or relaxing at the beach, but actual survival. Imagine you're stranded at sea, maybe after a boat accident or an emergency situation. What do you do?
It's one of the hardest survival situations possible. No land, no fresh water, no shelter. Just endless blue all around you.
Exactly. It's not just about swimming, it's about energy management, mindset, and using what you have wisely.
And as always, we'll go step by step. What to do in the first minutes, the first hours, and then how to last longer if rescue takes time.
This is going to be practical and eye-opening, because the ocean is beautiful, but also unforgiving.
So let's start from the beginning. You're in a boat, maybe a small one, and suddenly it capsizes. You're in the water. What's the very first thing you do?
Number 1, don't panic. The ocean looks terrifying when you fall in, but panic burns oxygen, energy, and judgment.
That's the same as forest survival. Your mind decides if you make it or not.
Exactly. You have to orient yourself immediately. Take a few seconds to float, breathe, and look around. Are there people near you? Pieces of the boat? Anything floating?
Because the first few minutes are crucial. If you waste energy thrashing around, you'll tire out fast.
Yes. The body loses heat 25 times faster in water than in air. So you need to minimize movement and find flotation.
That's a good point. Even if you can swim, it's not about distance here. It's about staying afloat as long as possible.
Exactly. So grab anything that floats. A cooler, life jacket, seat cushion, or even a plastic bottle. Anything that gives buoyancy.
That's your first goal. Stay above water, conserve energy.
So let's say you found a floating object. The next thing is to relax your body and float as naturally as possible.
Yeah, most people try to swim constantly, but that burns energy and dehydrates you.
Exactly. The ocean is vast. You can't fight it. You have to cooperate with it.
What do you mean?
I mean, use its rhythm. Float on your back, let the waves lift you, and breathe calmly. Don't fight every wave. Move with them.
That's so true. It's almost like a meditation, breathing with the ocean instead of against it.
Yes. Panic makes your body tense, and that uses oxygen faster. Calm breathing conserves energy and helps your mind stay clear.
And that's when you can start thinking. Where's the boat? Which direction is the shore? Are there others you can help?
Exactly. In the first 30 minutes, the goal isn't to escape, it's to stabilize body, mind, and breathing.
Let's say an hour passes. The waves have calmed a little. You've managed to stay afloat. What's next?
Now it's about survival strategy. If you're with others, stay together. A group is easier to see from the air or from ships.
Right, rescuers spot groups faster than individuals.
Exactly. And if you can, tie things together. Ropes, shirts, or even belts to form a small floating cluster.
That makes you more visible, and it also gives emotional comfort.
Yes, isolation increases fear. Having people around keeps you alert and gives hope.
What if you're alone?
Then visibility becomes priority. Bright colors, reflective materials, anything you can use to signal, a mirror, a watch, or even the metal part of a belt buckle.
That's smart. You're basically saying make yourself easy to find.
Exactly. You can't outswim the sea, but you can make yourself stand out in it.
Let's talk about the two biggest threats: dehydration, and sun.
Yes. Ironically, surrounded by water and you can't drink any of it. Salt water kills faster than thirst.
So, what should you do when you're thirsty?
First, don't drink salt water ever. It increases dehydration. Second, minimize sweating. Stay in the shade, if possible, or at least cover your head and neck.
Shade in the middle of the ocean? That sounds impossible.
You'd be surprised. You can make shade with your shirt, a plastic bag, or even your own floating debris. Cover your head and neck.
That's clever. Even a small reduction in sun exposure can save energy and prevent heat stroke.
Exactly. Also, try to stay as still as possible. Movement increases salt absorption through skin pores and burns calories.
So, floating calmly isn't just for energy, it helps control body temperature too.
Yes, the goal is balance. Not too active, not too still. You want to preserve strength without freezing or overheating.
Now, I want to talk about something deeper, the mental battle, because being lost at sea must be terrifying.
It's one of the hardest psychological challenges. Endless horizon, no solid ground. Your brain loses sense of time and direction.
So, how do you stay sane?
You create structure. You give yourself small goals, like stay calm until the sun sets, or look around every 5 minutes.
So, you keep your mind busy.
Exactly. Despair kills faster than hunger. Survivors say talking to themselves, praying, or visualizing home helps them hold on.
That's powerful. So, mindset is as important as strategy.
Absolutely. You can have equipment and still fail if you lose hope. But with strong will, even without gear, people have survived days, even weeks at sea.
I've read stories of fishermen or plane crash survivors lasting more than a month on rafts.
Yes, using rainwater, fish, and seaweed. Which brings us to the next part, food and hydration.
So, let's say rescue hasn't come in 2 days. What do you do for water and food?
First, focus on water. You can collect rain using any flat surface, plastic sheets, bottles, or even your shirt. Wring it into your mouth.
And what if it doesn't rain?
Then you have to rely on condensation. At night, moisture collects on surfaces. You can lick dew from plastic or smooth objects.
It sounds minimal, but even drops help.
Exactly. Every drop counts. For food, fish is your best option. If you have anything sharp or string-like, you can improvise fishing tools.
And if not?
Then plankton or small seaweed pieces. Some are edible and nutritious. But you must be careful. Avoid jellyfish or unknown floating matter.
That sounds tough, but it's survival.
Yes. And the key is moderation. Don't eat too much saltwater fish without rinsing. Salt increases thirst.
Let's talk about night. That must be the hardest part.
Yes. The sea gets cold and dark. You lose visual reference and fear kicks in.
So what should someone do at night?
Stay as calm as possible. Keep close to your flotation device. If in a group, stay connected. Sing, talk, or check on each other.
That's interesting. Social interaction keeps your mind focused.
Yes, and it prevents panic. Also, keep your chin above water to breathe easily. Hypothermia can sneak up even in mild water.
Would moving help?
Gentle movement, like treading water slowly, helps maintain warmth, but don't overdo it. You want slow circulation, not exhaustion.
And you keep scanning the horizon for lights or sounds, right?
Yes. Ships, planes, or rescue flares. But remember, your eyes adjust slowly. Avoid staring at the same point for too long.
Okay, let's say it's the 3rd day. You hear a helicopter or see a ship. What's the best way to signal?
Movement and contrast. Wave both arms, use bright objects, or reflect light.
And if it's nighttime?
Light or fire if possible. Even your phone screen, flashlight, or glow stick helps. You can also splash water rhythmically to catch attention.
So anything that breaks the ocean's pattern.
Exactly. The human eye detects movement and contrast before color, so be active, visible, and persistent.
That's good advice because rescuers might only have seconds to spot you.
Right. Never give up signaling until you're sure they've seen you.
You know, listening to this, I realize surviving at sea isn't just physical. It's deeply human.
Yes, it's about patience, faith, and respect for nature.
The sea teaches humility. It reminds you that we're small, but also capable of incredible endurance.
Exactly. The people who survive aren't superheroes. They're calm, strategic, and disciplined.
And they prepare. That's something anyone can do. Learn, pack the right gear, understand your environment.
Yes, preparation is the difference between fear and focus.
So if anyone's listening and planning a trip, respect the ocean, learn the basics, and never underestimate nature.
Well said. And remember, survival starts in your mind.
Exactly. Stay calm, stay focused, and you can outlast almost anything.
That's the truth.
All right, everyone, thank you for joining us today. This was Dr. English Channel, and we hope you learned something valuable and maybe even life-saving.
Take care out there, and we'll see you next week.
Hey everyone! Welcome back to another episode of Dr. English Channel with David and Anna. Today's topic is something I think every English learner struggles with at some point: speaking with confidence. But before we start, don't forget to subscribe our channel for more videos about the easy ways to learn English from beginner.
Yes, this is one of my favorite topics. You know, we can study grammar, memorize words, and practice pronunciation. But if you don't feel confident, it's really hard to speak naturally.
Exactly. It's not just about what you know, it's about how you feel when you open your mouth to speak.
So true. We meet so many learners who say, I understand English, but I can't speak it. And it's usually not a skill problem. It's a confidence problem.
Right. Confidence is like the bridge between knowing English and using English. Without it, you're stuck on one side, full of knowledge, but silent.
That's such a perfect way to say it. So today we're going to talk about how to build that bridge, how to speak English with real, lasting confidence.
Let's start here. What does confidence really mean when it comes to speaking English?
For me, confidence doesn't mean being perfect. It means being comfortable with being imperfect.
I love that, because perfection is what stops most people. They think, if I make a mistake, people will laugh.
Exactly. But in reality, people respect effort more than perfection. Think about it. When someone speaks your language, even with mistakes, do you judge them?
No, of course not. You appreciate that they're trying.
Right. And yet, when we speak English, we suddenly become so critical of ourselves. We expect every sentence to be perfect.
That's a huge problem. Real confidence starts when you stop chasing perfection and start focusing on connection.
Yes, communication, not perfection. When you shift your goal from speaking perfectly to being understood, confidence starts to grow naturally.
It's like learning to drive. You're nervous at first, but the more you drive, the more automatic it becomes.
Exactly. And sometimes you still make small mistakes, but you don't panic, you just correct and keep going. That's confidence.
Let's talk about fear, because Most people who lack confidence in English aren't really afraid of the language. They're afraid of judgment.
Yes, they fear what others might think. What if I sound stupid? What if they laugh? What if I can't find the right word?
Those what ifs are like mental traps. They stop you from even trying.
True. But here's the reality. Most people are too busy thinking about themselves to judge you.
Exactly. When you speak English, the person listening isn't analyzing your grammar. They're listening to your message.
I remember when I was learning French, I used to overthink every word. But when I finally just started talking, mistakes and all, people were kind, helpful, and actually impressed.
That's the thing. Confidence grows through action, not before it. You don't wait until you feel ready. You start and then you become ready.
Yes, you can't think your way into confidence. You have to speak your way into it.
So, how do we make that mindset shift from fear to confidence?
For me, it's about changing how you define success. Most learners think success means speaking English like a native, but that's not realistic.
Exactly. Success should mean I spoke English today and I expressed myself.
Yes, every time you use English, even if it's just ordering coffee or saying hello, that's progress.
And that progress builds confidence because confidence isn't built overnight. It's built every time you take a small action.
Absolutely. Another thing that helps is self-talk. What you say to yourself matters.
Oh, 100%. When you tell yourself, I'm bad at English, your brain starts to believe it.
But if you say, I'm improving every day, it changes your attitude. You start noticing progress instead of mistakes.
Exactly. The rich mindset says, I'm learning. The poor mindset says, I can't.
You're still thinking about the last episode.
Guilty, but it's true. It applies here too.
Definitely. Confidence is a habit, not a talent. You practice it.
You know what helps? Hearing real stories of people who overcame their fear.
Oh, yes. I remember one student. Her name was Lena. She was terrified to speak English in public.
What happened?
She avoided speaking for months, but one day she decided to volunteer at an international event. She had no choice but to talk to people in English.
Nice. So what was the result?
The first few hours were rough. She froze a few times. But by the end of the day, she realized people didn't care about her mistakes. They just wanted to connect.
That's beautiful. And after that, she must have felt unstoppable.
Exactly. That one day gave her more confidence than months of silent study.
That's what I always tell people. Your comfort zone is small, but your potential is huge.
Yes, the magic happens when you step outside that comfort zone, not when you feel ready.
You know what kills confidence faster than anything? Comparison.
Oh, yes, comparing yourself to others.
Especially online. You see someone speaking perfectly on YouTube or social media and you think, I'll never sound like that.
But that person has probably practiced for years. You're comparing your beginning to their middle.
Exactly. Confidence doesn't grow when you look at others. It grows when you look back and see how far you've come.
That's so important. Record yourself speaking English today, then again in 3 months. You'll be amazed at the difference.
Totally. Confidence comes from seeing progress, not perfection.
And from accepting that your journey is yours. It's not supposed to look like anyone else's.
Let's talk about something simple but powerful. Speaking out loud.
Yes, even when you're alone.
Exactly. Because your brain needs to hear your voice in English.
When you speak in your head, you stay safe. When you speak out loud, you start training your mouth, your ears, and your rhythm.
Right. And the more you hear yourself, the less strange it feels.
Some learners are shy even when they're alone. They whisper. But I always say, talk to yourself like you're talking to a friend.
Yeah, use your mirror. Say, "Hi, how are you today? What's my plan for the day?" It sounds silly, but it works.
Exactly. Confidence grows from familiarity. The more you speak, the more natural it feels.
Let's talk about mistakes, because this is the biggest fear of all.
Oh, absolutely. Everyone's afraid to make mistakes. But mistakes are literally the best teachers.
Right. You don't learn confidence by avoiding mistakes. You learn it by surviving them.
I love that. When you make a mistake and realize the world doesn't end, you become fearless.
Yes. You start thinking, okay, I said something wrong, but I still communicated. No big deal.
Exactly. Confidence grows with every mistake you recover from.
That's why kids learn languages so fast. They don't care if they're wrong. They just talk.
Adults think too much, but the more relaxed you are, the more fluent you become.
So what can people do to build confidence practically?
Speak every day, even 5 minutes.
Yes, confidence grows with repetition.
And don't wait for perfect grammar. Talk with what you know.
Exactly. Progress, not perfection.
And also find safe environments, language exchange partners, online communities, friends.
Right. And celebrate small wins. Did you talk to someone in English today? Amazing. That's confidence training. The more you practice, the less fear you'll feel.
Because confidence is not built by thinking, it's built by doing.
So, Anna, if you could give one final message to everyone afraid to speak English, what would it be?
I'd say your English doesn't need to be perfect to be powerful.
Beautiful.
Because what people remember isn't your grammar, it's your energy, your kindness, your message.
That's so true. And for me, I'd say confidence starts the moment you stop judging yourself.
Yes, be your own supporter, not your critic.
The more you encourage yourself, the faster you'll grow.
And remember, everyone who speaks confidently today once struggled too.
100%. Nobody starts fluent. Everyone starts afraid.
But they spoke anyway, and that's what made them confident.
That's the key. Speak anyway.
Speak anyway.
That felt good. I hope this episode gives people the courage to open their mouths and speak proudly, no matter where they are.
Yeah, me too. Thanks for listening, everyone. Don't forget, you already have everything you need to speak confidently. You just have to start.
Exactly. We'll see you in the next episode. Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Dr. English Channel. I'm David.
And I'm Anna. Thanks for joining us again. Today, we're diving into a topic that's very close to many people's hearts: introverts. But before we start, don't forget to subscribe our channel for more videos about the easy ways to learn English from beginner.
Yep, today's episode is called Introvert People. We're going to talk about what it really means to be an introvert, how introverts think, how they socialize, and why they're often misunderstood.
This topic is fascinating because I think a lot of people assume being an introvert means being shy or antisocial, but that's not true at all.
Exactly. I think there are a lot of misconceptions. And honestly, I used to misunderstand introversion myself. I used to think introverts just didn't like people. But now I realize it's more about energy, where you get it and how you spend it.
Totally. And I think today we can explore both sides, introverts and extroverts, and maybe help people understand themselves a little better.
So, Anna, would you say you're an introvert?
I would say I'm more of an ambivert, somewhere in the middle, but I definitely lean toward the introvert side. I enjoy people, but after a social event, I need time alone to recharge.
Same here. I think I used to think of myself as an extrovert, but as I got older, I realized I need that quiet time. After teaching or doing a group project, I just want silence.
That's such a good point. Introverts aren't necessarily quiet all the time. They can be very social, but social interactions drain their energy instead of recharging it.
Exactly. Like extroverts get energy from people, and introverts spend energy when they're around people.
Right. And sometimes introverts feel pressure to act more extroverted, like in school, at work, or even in friendships, because society tends to reward people who are loud, confident, and outgoing.
Oh, yeah, the world is definitely built for extroverts. Meetings, group work, open offices, parties, everything is designed around constant social interaction.
And for introverts, that can be exhausting.
For sure. But I think introverts have superpowers too. Deep thinking, creativity, great listening skills, and the ability to focus for long periods.
Absolutely. I read once that some of the most innovative people in history were introverts, like Albert Einstein, Bill Gates, or even J.K. Rowling.
Yeah, they didn't need to talk constantly, they needed space to think deeply.
You know what I find fascinating about introverts? Their inner world.
Oh, yes. Introverts live a lot inside their own minds.
Exactly. They often have rich inner lives, full of imagination, reflection, and observation. They might not talk much, but their thoughts are like a whole universe.
I totally agree. My introverted friends often surprise me. They'll stay quiet during group discussions, but when they finally speak, what they say is incredibly thoughtful.
Yes, it's like they've been processing everything deeply before speaking.
That's the thing. Introverts think before they talk, while extroverts often talk to think.
That's such a good way to put it.
I remember in college, I had a roommate who was super introverted. We'd go to parties together, and after about an hour, I'd notice him sitting in a quiet corner, just watching people.
I know that feeling.
And afterward, when we walked home, he'd tell me all these detailed observations about what people said, their emotions, even body language, things I completely missed.
That's so true. Introverts notice small details because they're observing, not just reacting.
It's like they have a radar for emotions.
Exactly. And that's why introverts often make great writers, artists, or counselors. They see things deeply and feel things deeply.
Let's talk about friendships. I think introverts have a very different approach to social life.
Totally. Introverts don't usually want a large group of friends. They want meaningful, deep connections with a few people.
Yeah, quality over quantity.
Right. For an introvert, one honest conversation with a close friend is more satisfying than a big party with dozens of people.
I've noticed that introverts value authenticity. They can't handle fake smiles or small talk for too long.
Oh, small talk, the introvert's nightmare.
Exactly. I know introverts who say, I can handle small talk for 5 minutes, but after that, I want to talk about something real, like life, purpose, or the universe.
Yes, I'm like that too. I can't just keep talking about the weather or traffic.
But you know what? Introverts make really loyal friends. They might not open up easily, but when they do, they're deeply committed.
That's true. They value trust and they don't waste energy on relationships that don't feel genuine.
Yeah. If an introvert lets you into their world, that's special.
Let's talk about how introverts function in workplaces or schools.
Good topic. I think many introverts struggle in traditional classrooms or offices because those environments reward the loudest voices.
Exactly. Participation points, group discussions, constant teamwork, it can be draining.
Yeah, like in meetings, extroverts speak up right away, but introverts need time to process their thoughts. But by the time they're ready to share, the discussion has already moved on.
That's so true. And people sometimes mistake that for not caring or not having ideas, which is unfair.
Totally. Some of the best ideas come from quiet thinkers. They just need a bit more time to form them.
I agree. I think workplaces should create space for different communication styles, like allowing people to submit ideas in writing instead of only speaking up in meetings.
That would be amazing. And for introverts, having a quiet workspace can really make a difference.
Definitely. I've seen introverts thrive in remote work because they can control their environment and focus deeply without interruptions.
Yeah, solitude isn't loneliness for them, it's peace.
Let's address some myths about introverts.
Oh, yes, the big one. Introverts are shy.
Exactly. Shyness is about fear of social judgment, but introversion is about energy preference.
Right. You can be a confident introvert who gives public speeches, but still need quiet time afterward.
Absolutely. I know introverts who are leaders, teachers, actors. They can perform and interact, but afterward, they need to rest alone.
Another misconception is that introverts don't like people.
Yes, introverts do like people. They just prefer meaningful one-on-one interactions instead of big, noisy crowds.
Exactly. It's not that they hate parties, they just get tired faster.
And sometimes they enjoy being alone because they recharge through solitude.
That's something extroverts often don't understand. For introverts, being alone isn't sad, it's necessary.
Yes, I think many introverts actually love their alone time, reading, writing, creating, or just thinking.
It's their way of breathing.
Let's flip the conversation a bit. What do you think are introverts' biggest strengths?
I'd say self-awareness. Introverts spend time reflecting, so they really understand their thoughts and emotions.
I agree. They're also amazing listeners.
Oh, yes. Introverts don't interrupt, they actually listen. When you talk to them, you feel heard.
Exactly. And that makes them great friends, leaders, and partners.
I also think introverts are creative thinkers. They often spend hours daydreaming or coming up with ideas because they enjoy mental exploration.
That's so true. Some of the most creative people I know are introverts. They're not loud, but their minds are bursting with imagination.
And they're often empathetic. Because they observe quietly, they pick up on other people's feelings.
Yes, empathy is such a gift. Introverts can sense emotions in a room even when no one says anything.
Yeah, they're like emotional detectives.
Now, let's be honest. Being an introvert can be hard sometimes.
Definitely. One challenge is social pressure. People often expect you to be outgoing all the time.
Yes, and if you're quiet, they assume something's wrong. Like, are you okay? Why are you so quiet?
Exactly. And sometimes introverts just don't have the energy to talk. It doesn't mean they're upset.
Right. Another challenge is networking. In business or school, networking is so important, but it's hard for introverts to approach new people.
Yeah, walking into a room full of strangers can be terrifying for them.
But when they do connect with someone, it's genuine.
Exactly. I think introverts can learn strategies that fit their style, like one-on-one networking instead of big group mingling.
That's a great tip. Also, I think introverts sometimes struggle to express themselves on the spot.
True. They often need time to prepare their thoughts. That's why they're great at writing emails or reflective messages, because they can think before responding.
Yes, they communicate best when they have space to process.
Let's talk about relationships. How do introverts usually handle romantic relationships?
Oh, that's an interesting one. I think introverts love deeply but quietly.
I agree. They're not flashy, but they're loyal and attentive.
Right. They might not say, I love you 20 times a day, but they'll show it through actions, remembering details, being there when it matters.
And they prefer deep emotional bonds over constant attention.
Right. But sometimes misunderstandings happen, especially if their partner is extroverted and wants more interaction.
Yeah, communication is key. The extrovert has to understand that silence doesn't mean disinterest, and the introvert has to explain their need for space.
That's true. I think balance is possible if both people respect each other's energy needs.
Exactly. When an introvert feels safe, they open up beautifully.
Let's talk about something introverts truly love: solitude.
Oh, yes. Being alone but not lonely.
Exactly. For introverts, solitude is like a battery charger.
I think a lot of extroverts misunderstand that. They think being alone means you're sad or bored. But for introverts, it's peace.
Totally. I love those quiet mornings with a cup of tea, just reading or journaling. It's heaven.
Same here. No noise, no pressure, just space to think.
And it's in those quiet moments that creativity and self-awareness grow.
Yeah, introverts find inspiration in silence.
So, if you could give one piece of advice to introverts listening today, what would it be?
I'd say don't try to change who you are. The world needs quiet thinkers as much as loudspeakers.
Beautifully said. I'd add, protect your energy. You don't have to say yes to every invitation or conversation. It's okay to rest.
Yes, solitude is strength, not weakness.
Exactly. And for introverts listening, remember that introverts need time alone not because they don't like you, but because they're recharging.
That's right. Everyone's different, and that's what makes the world balanced.
Imagine if everyone talked all the time. Chaos.
Oh, yeah, no one would listen.
So maybe we can all learn something from introverts to slow down, listen, and appreciate silence.
You know, after talking about this for 2 hours, I feel like I understand introverts even more. And myself, too.
Me too. I think we all have introverted sides, even if we're social.
Yeah. Sometimes the best thing we can do is give ourselves permission to be quiet.
Absolutely. Silence can be powerful. It's where thoughts, creativity, and peace are born.
I love that.
Well, that's all for today's episode.
Thank you so much for listening to Dr. English Channel.
Remember, being introverted isn't something to fix. It's something to understand and embrace.
Exactly. Take care of your energy, honor your personality, and keep learning English through real-life topics like this.
Thanks for joining us. Until next time, stay kind, stay curious, and be yourself.
Bye, everyone.
Bye!
Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Dr. English Channel with David and Anna. Today we've got a fascinating topic, one that always gets people curious: high IQ people. But before we start, don't forget to subscribe our channel for more videos about the easy ways to learn English from beginner.
Hi, everyone. I'm so glad to be here. This topic is one of my favorites because intelligence is something people often misunderstand. We tend to think IQ means everything, but there's so much more to it, right, David?
Exactly. People often hear IQ and immediately think of academic success or someone who solves math problems super fast. But high IQ can show up in different ways: creativity, logical reasoning, emotional balance, and problem solving.
And some high IQ people aren't even aware they have a high IQ. They just do things differently. They observe more, think deeply, and see patterns others miss.
Right. So let's start from the beginning. When we say high IQ, we're usually referring to people with IQ scores above 130. That's roughly the top 2% of the population. But it's not about numbers. It's about how they think.
Yes, their brains process information differently. They connect ideas faster, question assumptions, and enjoy solving complex problems. But they also face unique challenges, like overthinking or feeling misunderstood.
That's true. So today, we'll explore what makes high IQ people different, their thinking styles, habits, challenges, and how they live their daily lives.
Let's start with thinking patterns. From what I've read and observed, high IQ people are extremely curious. They don't just accept things as they are, they always ask why and how.
Exactly. Curiosity is their superpower. They dive deep into topics others might overlook. For example, if they see a tree, they won't just think, "That's a tree." They'll wonder, how does it grow that way? How do roots communicate underground?
Yes, it's like they can't turn off their mind. And sometimes that can be exhausting, right?
It can. Their minds are constantly processing, analyzing situations, replaying conversations, and exploring new ideas. but that same mental energy helps them make connections quickly.
I remember reading that high IQ individuals tend to think visually. They don't just think in words, they create images, maps, or systems in their minds.
That's a great point. They use mental models to simplify complex ideas. For example, instead of memorizing random facts, they build frameworks, like connecting how history, science, and art overlap.
So, in a way, their intelligence isn't just about having more knowledge, it's about how they organize it.
Exactly. It's like having a super efficient filing system in their mind.
Let's talk about habits. What do you think high IQ people tend to do daily that sets them apart?
Good question. First, they read a lot, but not just books in one subject. They read across genres: science, philosophy, psychology, history, and even fiction.
They want to understand the world from every angle.
Right. And they also love solitude. It's not that they dislike people, they just need time alone to recharge and process ideas.
Yes, alone time helps them think clearly. I've noticed that many geniuses, like Einstein or Newton, were known for their solitary habits.
Another interesting habit, they question everything, including themselves. They don't assume they're always right. In fact, many high IQ people suffer from what's called imposter syndrome.
Oh, yes, that's when smart people doubt their own abilities. They constantly compare themselves to others and feel they're not doing enough.
Exactly. So intelligence doesn't automatically bring confidence. Sometimes it brings self-doubt because they're so aware of what they don't know.
That's such a paradox, isn't it? The more they know, the more they realize how little they know.
That's the essence of wisdom, actually.
Now, let's move to something less talked about: how high IQ people handle emotions and relationships.
Good topic, because being intelligent doesn't always mean being emotionally smart. Some high IQ individuals struggle with emotional expression.
True. They can be over-analytical in relationships, trying to solve emotional issues like math problems. But emotions don't work that way.
Exactly. But on the flip side, some have very high emotional intelligence. They can read others' feelings intuitively. It depends on personality and upbringing.
So you could have two high IQ people who are totally different. One logical and detached, another empathetic and expressive.
Yes, and both forms of intelligence are valuable. But here's something interesting. Many high IQ people feel lonely or disconnected because they think differently.
That's sad, but true. They might feel like no one gets them.
That's why many high IQ individuals find comfort in creative hobbies: painting, writing, coding, or music. These activities allow them to express thoughts that words can't.
Let's discuss challenges. People might assume high IQ individuals have easy lives, but that's not always the case.
Definitely not. For one, they can get bored easily. Routine tasks or small talk might frustrate them because their mind craves stimulation.
Yes, and when they don't get that mental challenge, they can feel stuck or even depressed.
Another challenge, perfectionism. They set incredibly high standards for themselves.
And if they fail to meet those standards, they can be very harsh on themselves.
Exactly. Many high IQ people also struggle with procrastination, not because they're lazy, but because they overthink before taking action.
That's so true. They analyze every possible outcome before starting something.
And that leads to analysis paralysis, thinking so much that they delay progress.
Let's shift to the positive side. How do high IQ people use their abilities effectively?
When they channel their intelligence into something meaningful, like research, art, or problem solving, they can make incredible contributions.
Yes, and they often create new ways of thinking. They challenge norms, innovate, and inspire others.
The key for them is to find purpose. Intelligence without direction can feel empty.
Exactly. That's why many high IQ people talk about needing fulfillment, not just success.
They don't just want to earn money, they want to understand life.
That's deep. And it reminds me some of the greatest minds in history were also philosophers.
True, because intelligence naturally leads to reflection.
So, David, what can the rest of us learn from them?
Good question. I think we can learn to stay curious, question assumptions, and never stop learning.
Yes, and also to think critically, not just accept everything we see online or hear from others.
Absolutely. High IQ people remind us that intelligence is about how we think, not how much we know.
And we can all practice that. We can read more, reflect more, and spend time alone to understand ourselves better.
That's the secret to keep growing mentally, emotionally, and spiritually.
This was such a meaningful conversation. I love that we didn't just talk about IQ as a number, but as a mindset.
Same here. Intelligence is multidimensional. It's not about showing off how smart you are. It's about using your mind to make life better for yourself and others.
Beautifully said. So, to our listeners, remember, intelligence isn't fixed. You can always expand your mind by being curious, observant, and kind.
That's the real sign of a high IQ person. Thanks for joining us today. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to tune in next week. Until then, keep thinking, keep learning, and keep growing.